Oh, listen, it's gorgeous. We're just down here in the mid-Atlantic, just catching the edge of the storm, just rain. No,
Cruise Control.
And welcome back to Cruise Control, your on-air automotive magazine. It's Fred Staub and Les Jackson. We are glad you're along for the ride, Les Jackson. Talking a little bit about the Ford Super Duty, right? That's big news and a big vehicle. Some of their great stuff that they have, big trucks, but they have all the features of a car, and plus they have things like intelligent adaptive cruise control with stop and go and lane centering. Another neat thing they have is trailer navigation, which you can plot routes that might if you didn't know about it, you might rip the top of your trailer off, but this will
It happens.
plot routes that are safe for trailers and maybe a larger load. So good stuff, right?
It really is. Ford says that their goal is to leave drivers with 0 blind spots, which is really important.
Yeah, it definitely is. And as I say, I don't know why they don't put more of this stuff on tractor trailers because, it seems like this would be something that you want to have on a tractor trailer, especially backing up. Right now they do stuff where, you go outside and you throw a glove down and look at it in your mirror. Seems kind of out of date, doesn't it?
It does. You're leaving it up to the individual driving. You don't know what the level of training is, how long they've been on the job,
Yeah.
um, and they're on the roads with all the other cars, SUVs.
Yeah. Well, let's talk a little bit about the HD Silverado because it was a big week down in Texas. And, of course, Chevy didn't want to be left out of the party when it comes to heavy duties. There's always a big battle between Chevy and Ford. It's been going on for years. And what have they done? Well, they pumped up the power of their Duramax 6.6-liter V8 diesel, more horsepower and torque. And then their 10-speed is standard 10-speed automatic on both the 6.6 gas and the 6.6-liter Duramax turbo engines. Interesting. Both the same displacement, one gas, one diesel, right?
That is true. And I am quite sure that in a head-to-head competition, these trucks, fare very well with their competitors. I mean, it's the most important part of the vehicle business.
And looky here, a new technology for trailering, which includes 4 newer enhanced features designed to inspire confidence. This seems like they both got each other's press releases, doesn't it?
Yes, yes, I'm sure. Somehow, I think that has always been the case.
Yeah. And even little features like this, new audio control knobs to help strike the ideal balance between physical and digital controls.
You mean like this?
Yeah, exactly. So GM has also offered an array of trailering technologies, adaptive cruise control with trailer, which is, I think, a great feature to have if you have a trailer.
Yep.
Enhanced transparent trailer, which expands the current transparent technology by allowing it to work with fifth wheel and goosenecks. It's as if the trailer disappears, you can see behind it. Isn't that neat?
Which is really cool.
Yeah.
And very important.
Once again, also something that would be great to see on tractor trailers. Wouldn't that be great?
All of these things, the Department of Transportation should be mandating. But I'm sure there's an American Trucking Association lobbyist probably living within a few blocks of me.
That says keep it
trying
old
to make
school.
sure that doesn't happen.
Yeah. And then they have a trailer blindside alert zone. So if you're trailering or on the blind side and pulling in, you can see what's going on. So Also, they have a GCW alert, warns drivers if the vehicle and trailer weight exceeds the vehicle's gross combined weight rating. It's so funny. They both, Ford and GM, seem to be in
Yep.
lockstep. But then again, there is Ram, and Ram brought out a heavy duty this week, a little bit different. This is the Ram Heavy Duty Rebel. It was revealed at the State Fair of Texas. Um,
Again in Texas.
yeah, State Fair of Texas usually is held in Texas.
Um,
It's a good place to hold it.
most years, that's what the big tall cowboy statue,
Big
right?
Tex. Big
Big
Tex.
Tex.
Yeah, Big Tex is the guy. Yeah. So um, this is a 2023 Ram 2500 heavy duty Rebel. It's positioned between the Laramie and the Power Wagon. And this has the standard 6.4 liter Hemi V8 and an optional 6.7 liter Cummins turbo diesel. 410 horsepower, 429 pound-feet of torque. Probably not going to win with those torque numbers, but
No.
that's the gas. But the diesel has 370 horsepower, 850 pound-feet of torque.
Now we're talking.
Yeah, that's a little bit better. And Rebel was always kind of a I won't call it a cost conscious, but it's sort of like a sporty, blacked out look in
Yeah.
the front. Very popular in the 1500, so it's interesting to see this come up on the 2500. And do they have new towing capability as far as technology? I don't
Hmm.
know. I'm not sure.
Well, probably, but maybe they're just a little bit behind Ford and Chevy.
Yeah.
Um, I don't really, I have not seen any notable new technologies, but you can be sure they're not far away.
Yeah, yeah, that's for sure. That's for sure. Okay, well, let's move on to our next story, which is a little bit different than what we've been talking about, a little bit different than the heavy duty pickup trucks. This is some interesting information about the hydrogen future. Now, some manufacturers like Honda and Toyota have been really looking to hydrogen for the future, and I
Right.
believe Hyundai is also looking at it for the future.
Hyundai's actually made a hydrogen fuel cell truck,
Yeah, heavy duty truck, right? And
actually 3 years ago.
what's interesting, a lot of people don't know it, but Hyundai is one of the biggest trailer manufacturers for tractor trailers. So it makes sense that they'd want to make something that tows for it too, right?
Sure.
So uh, this is an interesting team up. It's an article in Automotive News. Borg Warner and Riken are looking into developing parts for hydrogen engines. So these are suppliers, and they're looking into. They're both known for transmissions and turbochargers, so they're looking into building um, parts for potential hydrogen engines, which tells you one thing: there's going to be hydrogen power engines coming up.
Without question.
Yeah,
A fuel cell answers the battery problem.
yeah. And it's a clean technology. It also allows for very quick refueling. Of course, we were talking about Hyundai. They had the N Vision 74 concept with 679 horsepower. So that's pretty
Pretty
stout.
serious.
Yeah. We always talk about this. What would it take to run an engine right now in a vintage car on hydrogen? Could it be done?
Oh, sure. Sure. You can run them on hydrogen or propane or natural gas. You've got to, of course, create a new intake. Um, not a carburetor as such, to just meter the fuel. Now, of course, modern engines you can just run the gas through the injector, and I mean gas as in
Gas.
vapor.
Yeah. Well, we'll talk more about this when
Yeah.
we come back on Cruise Control. Stay tuned.
Welcome back to Cruise Control. Fred and I were talking about hydrogen powering engines, not just fuel cells, but taking older engines, older technology, and running hydrogen in it, which you can do. It's flammable. Boy, is it flammable. And these aftermarket suppliers are working this out. There's some modifications that have to be made to an engine, but you can do it. It's been done.
Yeah, exactly. Well, will it be done in the future? I think it will.
I think so.
Because it's a great way to keep the technology going, internal combustion going, and keep it clean, right?
That's right. We've got hundreds of millions of internal combustion engines, and they'll be around for 20 or 30 years.
Yeah.
So something can run them. You've been to a warehouse where the forklifts run on, that's generally natural gas running the
Or
internal combustion engine.
or propane, I guess, right?
Or propane.
Yeah. All right. Well, if the suppliers are getting involved, that means that they're definitely going to be building something.
Yep.
Somebody's
What do
going
you
to.
think it would cost if you had a mid-year Corvette, for instance?
I don't know. I'll say
I don't either.
$5,000. I'll just throw it.
It's probably sounds about right. I'm going to see if I can research that.
Yeah, that's your homework, Les, for the next week.
Thank you.
Yeah. All right. Well, let's take a look at some of the pricing on some new vehicles here, Les. And let's start with the Mitsubishi Outlander plug-in hybrid. And this is a bit of a deal. I'll explain why. It's priced from $39,845, and typically, when you see it goes this way: regular SUV, low 30s; hybrid
Right.
SUV, about 39 to 40; plug-in hybrid, you're looking closer to 50, typically. That's just a rough rule of thumb when it comes to electrified vehicles
Yep.
in this segment. But this is starting at 39,845, and it is it sounds like sort of a deal to me. It has got the updated Outlander front end, and you get 38 miles of electric range. So it is up there as far as that goes when it comes to plug-in range. I mean, some have as low as 16. This has 38, which you can do a lot of traveling with that, can't you?
Well, and you can also recharge the Mitsubishi on the engine from the engine itself. Now, of course, you're not saving any money doing that, but if you need to recharge for whatever reason, just put it on charge mode.
Yeah, and this does have the super all-wheel drive control system, utilizing the gasoline engine for the front drive wheels and a standalone rear-mounted motor to drive the rear axle. The front, 114 horsepower, the rear, 134 horsepower, 248 combined. Not huge numbers, 332 pound-feet of torque. Not bad at all.
Not bad.
Yeah, the front engine is interesting that it only gets it is a 2.4 liter 4-cylinder Atkinson cycle gasoline engine, but you would think it would have more horsepower than that, don't you?
Well, yeah, but they find you don't need it.
Yeah, okay.
If you have the boost of the electric motor.
Yeah, all right. Interesting stuff. And starting once again at a, weird to say this, but affordable 39,845. 39,845. There you go. Not the number that you would have thought I would have said in the past was an affordable number, right?
Affordable is one of those relative statements.
Yes. But we'll be talking more about this vehicle and hopefully be driving it in the future. Let's take a look at the Nissan Area. This is a vehicle that you and I have been talking about for a while, and it is the fully electric crossover from the folks at Nissan, sporting a two-tone paint as it always does. Nissan, I think, was the one that started that trend of the two-tone paint. Beautiful looking vehicle. Reminds me of the time when the Murano was released and everyone was like, wow, look at that.
Yep.
So it has a bit of that style. Love the wheels. So there are 6 different grades of this vehicle, and they come in different battery sizes, front-wheel drive, or the E-Force. That's with the number 4, 4-O-R-C-E, for the electric vehicle. And you can pick 6 grades of this. So that's kind of unusual these days to have that many different models.
It is.
Yeah. So there's a 63 kilowatt hour battery or an 87 kilowatt hour battery. And with that larger battery, you can have up to a 304-mile range, which is pretty good these days, isn't it?
It is pretty good. And of course, the models get progressively pricey.
Yeah, they do. They start out at a somewhat affordable $43,190.
Okay.
And that is for the Engage with the smaller battery. And then they move on up, let's say, to the Evolve Plus front-wheel drive, $50,190. The Premier front-wheel drive is $54,690. And then you drop down a little bit for the Engage Force, E-Force, $47,190. So in a sense, you are well under 50 for the Engage with the smaller battery. But then if you go for the whole deal, all the way at the top, the Platinum Plus E-Force with the large battery is $60,190. Okay, now I'm going to say something really weird. These days, that's not a huge price for a well-equipped, all-wheel drive vehicle that can get 300 miles of range, is it?
That's true, but it is a fairly compact vehicle.
Yeah, I would say, what, would you say it's the size of the Murano?
I think a little bit, well, I'd say more like the Rogue.
Okay, really? You think it's a Rogue?
I think it's, well, do we have any specs on the
I don't think.
length? And no, I'll have to check.
Yeah. Yeah. Interesting, though. Interesting stuff. And I think it's one of the most beautiful vehicles that.
It's quite nice looking.
Yeah. So pretty cool stuff from the folks at Nissan. Just a ton of new vehicles this week, Les, with pricing. We can keep going on them. We've got, Lexus has brought out their NX. I don't think we have pricing on this, but they have a couple of different models of it, including plug-in hybrids, a hybrid and electric in one, horsepower and hybrid and electric in one. Do we have a number on that? No, I don't think we do. But there's just new models coming out left and right. It's almost like a floodgate open.
Yep. Well, it's that time of year.
Yeah, it is that time of year, and cool stuff. Cool stuff. We're gonna have more in the next hour too, as well, from Kia and some other manufacturers, Subaru, and a couple of different things from Kia this week. Believe it or not, they still make the Rio.
They do.
If you want a very affordable vehicle that won't break the bank, that might be something to look at, right?
There, once again, you're using that word affordable uh, in an interesting manner. Um, I guess yeah. Since the average price for a vehicle out there is 46,700, I guess that is affordable.
Yeah, everything's relative. Everything's relevant. But you can get down pretty low with a Kia Rio. So cool stuff. Hey, when we come back, Les is going to have an at the wheel review of the Ford Lightning. I can't wait to hear his take on it. So stay tuned to Cruise Control.
Hey, Patrick.
Cruise Control.
Welcome back to Cruise Control. You know us. I'm Les. He's Fred. I am going to tell you all about what I drove in our At the Wheel segment. This time it's the Ford Lightning. That's the electric pickup truck that you can't order because the orders they're way behind. The orders are sold out
Wow.
for the year, and they're estimating maybe by spring you'll be able to order one. So let me tell you why everybody wants one of these things because it really is a serious truck. And first, I'll just give you the normal things. The appearance is 150, but of course the front doesn't have a grill. It actually has
Grill
kind of a
like.
it's a blacked out area, but it looks grilly.
Grilly? Is that a word?
It is now.
Yeah.
But
Grilly.
you don't feel like it looks really different. So mine was red, as it should be, um, with a dark gray interior.
Why should it be red?
Because it's a Lightning. It should either be black or red.
Oh yeah, you mean going back to the old days. Yeah. Yeah.
Absolutely. Uh, and on the outside, this thing was fully equipped. Now I've had to put together the price because this was a production prototype, and the Monroney, the sheet, just says not for sale, and there are no numbers, no price numbers.
Okay.
But I worked it out, and I hope you're sitting down, Fred.
I am
Um,
sitting down. I'm ready. I'm ready to go.
gritting your teeth. Um, this had front tow hooks. It had the extended running board. It had the heated side mirrors. It had the. These are all standard,
Right.
but then added to it was the Pro outboard connections, electrical connections.
So that gives you
Uh,
what
it
electrical connections in the bed?
gives you to both 240 and 120,
Wow.
and USB. It's everything. So
You can charge your phone and run your electric dryer.
you could put the dryer in the bed. This also had the really cool power tailgate,
Okay.
and I have to tell you, I think it's like heated seats. Once you've had one, you don't want to not have one.
Yep.
Uh, so that was that was uh, part of it. Now, bed liner, yes, that's an accessory. Almost everything I'm going to mention is an accessory. Um, the uh, they didn't have the crossbed storage toolbox. This was completely open uh, tailgate, or rather bed, just because you want to put stuff in it, which I
Okay.
did not do.
Okay.
And the reason I didn't is because it's the electric pickup with pure torque.
Okay.
And I'll just tell you right now, it's a 98. This is the 98 kilowatt battery. It's 230-mile range, which is great.
Do you think that's enough for a truck if you get into towing and things like that?
You can get the optional battery, which gives you 320.
Okay.
Now I drove this thing hard and a lot,
Okay.
um, and I only had to really charge it up once with a level 3 charger.
How was that? I haven't. I don't think I've ever used a level 3
It's
charger.
terrific.
Okay.
It's once you find one,
Yeah.
don't tell anybody else about it, because I was able to charge it from 50% to 85% in 1 hour.
Wow.
That's a
50%.
to 85%.
That's pretty.
So
That's pretty
I was
great.
able to add basically about 100 miles, 100 and no, about 120, 130 miles,
Okay.
which is pretty convenient. I was at the dentist's office, and for the
Your
time I was in,
Does your dentist have a charging
no,
station?
but the Safeway grocery store next to the dentist's office has one.
Wow. Okay.
Now it does, some of these chargers do have a service fee and all of that. And I actually calculated it with the service fee and the electricity, which is 3 times the household rate. It still averaged per mile about the equivalent of $3 a gallon for gas.
Okay.
And that's the worst case.
Right.
Okay. Dual zone temperature control, 360-degree camera. We talked about that a little earlier in the show, which is really great. 12-inch screen. This is the intelligent cruise control. Actually, they like to call it almost like autopilot, but it's it's still level 2, level 3 automation.
Okay.
Um, Rain sensing wipers, which is great. Heated seats, heated steering wheel. Entertainment system is first rate. This had actually Sirius XM in it. Sync, really easily to use. Hotspot connects up to 10 devices.
Wow. Okay. So you could not
So
only run your house power wise, you could also
yeah,
connect it to the
br-
internet. Internet.
bring the family. Absolutely, absolutely. Um, so the packages, and I just want to briefly run. Well, let me tell you about driving it first.
Yeah.
Um, it is incredibly quiet. It's incredibly smooth, and in all surfaces or on all surfaces, and it's incredibly fast.
Okay.
This is a roughly the equivalent of a car with 800 horsepower.
Wow.
Um, it zero to, I mean, it is the fantastic throw you in the back seat, you know, hang on hard acceleration. This thing it scared my passengers quite a
It's
bit, which
something to get used to if you've never driven an
it
electric
is.
car,
It is.
a
This
truck.
this was this was maniacal fast. So that's great fun. Of course, you're using the electricity. Um, it of course has the Max Tow package. The Ford Copilot is what they call their intelligent
System.
whatever cruise
Yeah.
control. Yeah, it's just, um, they had the tow technology package.
How
Naturally,
I wonder how these things are towing because I've read some things that they can tow but they use the battery like crazy.
well, you would have to because all that work is requiring power,
Yeah.
and the power is draining the battery really fast. Just like if you're running your cell phone and constantly on the internet for 5 or 6 hours, your battery will go dead.
Yeah. Okay. Fair enough.
Uh, yeah, so it's what you're doing. But we need to get a chance to tow something someday to really check these out. Anyway, how much does this cost? Well,
How much does this cost, Les Jackson?
ask
What
me.
are you gonna charge me for
Okay,
this?
the base price. This was the XLT version, by the way, which is the second,
Most
just second up
but
from
probably the most popular trim
most
level
popular,
of
but
an
it's only second
F-150.
up from the base.
Okay.
So the base MSRP for the XLT is 59,474.
Okay.
Okay, all the options, $10,345.
Now, when you say options, what kind of stuff? Like
That was
heated
all the
seats and things?
stuff.
Okay.
Yeah, all the stuff I mentioned. It's one big package,
Okay. That
which
is.
is a 9,700, and then the added money was for the special hitch and a couple other things. And by the way, the 120-volt plug in your house cord is $500
Oh.
extra,
Okay.
which frankly, you don't. It'd be great to have in a pinch, but I did calculate it would take 90 hours to charge it.
Wow.
Um,
So the price was.
so the price with destination 1,795 was 71,614.
Woo. There you go.
I think that's about what they're going to trade for.
Yeah. Wow. That's a lot of money, but you know,
Heck of a truck.
heck of a truck, and it's based
I,
on an F-150. Did a lot of people think it was a regular F-150?
yeah, they did, but the people saw lightning and they went, "That's the electric one. Is that as good as it seems?" And yeah, actually, it is.
Actually, it's better. Yeah. Cool stuff.
Yeah.
Cool stuff. All right. Well, we appreciate you listening to Cruise Control. Don't forget to check us out all over the web at YouTube, Facebook, and the rest. Time for me to say I'm Fred Staub.
I'm Les Jackson.
We are going to see you down the road.
Bye.